Remember when Justin Bieber and Scooter Braun were the music industry's golden duo? The kid from Canada with the angel voice and the talent manager who saw that voice and turned it into an empire? They were unstoppable, hit after hit. Millions. Pouring in, world tours, award shows, magazine covers. They weren't just artist and manager. They were family. At least, that's what it looked like on the outside. But behind the scenes, things were falling apart. And now, it's money that's dragging it all back into the spotlight. Not just any money, millions. And guess who might be footing the bill? Hailey Bieber. Yeah, his wife, the model, the skincare mogul, the woman who just sold her company, Rhode, and walked away with enough cash to make anyone in Hollywood jealous. So what happened? Why does Justin Bieber owe Scooter Braun millions? And why is Hailey the one who once told Justin to grow the hell up during a Father's Day blowout now, stepping in to clean up his mess? Let's go back to the beginning. It all started with the Justice World tours. Justin's big comeback, after years of stepping back from music to focus on his health, his faith, his marriage, this was supposed to be it, the grand return, a tour that spanned the globe. A chance to reconnect with fans, with his roots, with the passion he had when he first sang Baby into a cheap mic all those years ago. The buzz was huge. Promoters jumped in. AEG the Megatour company gave Justin an upfront payment. Not small change, not even chump change. We're talking a $40 million advance. Everything unraveled, Justin canceled. There were health issues, physical, emotional. He pulled back again. Fans were left heartbroken, venues empty, and AEG, they wanted their money back. Fair enough, right? But Justin didn't have the full amount. Anymore. A lot of it had already been spent or tied up elsewhere. That's where Scooter came in. He stepped up, covered $26 million. Of the refund, that's not a gift, that's a loan. And it became the root of everything that followed. Now imagine this. You loan someone $26 million, they don't pay it back, and worse, they claim they're the ones owed money. That's what happened, according to reports. Justin didn't just delay paying Scooter back, he believed Scooter was the one in the wrong. Sources told The Hollywood Reporter that Justin felt Scooter had been overpaid on commissions for years, that the math didn't add up. That Scooter should be paying him, it's not just a disagreement, it's a full-on financial standoff. It's the reason their friendship started falling apart. You probably noticed. Scooter's name was missing when Justin did interviews. No more Scooters, like a brother. No more public shoutouts. The silence was loud then. Last month, TMZ dropped a bombshell. They're talking again, not just talking, negotiating, trying to settle things, trying to find peace, and all thanks to a documentary. Yeah, a documentary. TMZ's investigative series, What Happened to Justin Bieber, did a deep dive, pulled up contracts, commission reports, financial records. They brought in PricewaterhouseCoopers, the global accounting giant, to figure out who owed who. And guess what? Turns out, Justin did owe Scooter. Still the final number, $8.6 million in commissions. Scooter says it's closer to $11 million. But at this point, he's ready to take a loss just to end the drama. That's not even counting the $26 million. Loaned for the canceled tours, Scooter wants that money too. HYBE, Americot, the company Scooter, now works under They Want It. They need it, and they've made it clear. It's time for Justin to pay. But where's that money going to come from? Cue Hailey Bieber. Just a few weeks ago, Hailey closed a massive deal selling a controlling stake in her skincare line. Rhode, the brand, is booming, already a staple for Gen Z beauty lovers, and the payout. It made her one of the richest women. In the influencer space, sources now say Justin has agreed to finally pay off the debt to Scooter. Using Hailey's money. That's right, the man who once ruled the charts, who sold out stadiums in minutes, who made millions before he could legally drink, now might be relying on his wife's fortune to get out of the red. Let that sink in. Is it love? Is it partnership? Or is it desperation? There's something heartbreaking about it. Justin Bieber isn't just a pop star anymore. He's a husband, a man in his 30s trying to hold on to peace, maybe even his identity. And all the money, the fame, the Grammys, they don't shield you from the weight of a $26 million I owe you. especially not when it's to the man who made your career. What makes it even messier? The reports of a massive blowout between Hailey and Justin just days before this financial news broke, on Father's Day, of all days. TMZ reported that Hailey called Justin a F*** king child during a fight. They say she stormed out of their house, slamming the door. The shouting was loud enough for neighbors to hear, and now she's the one bailing him out. Maybe that's love, or maybe it's control. Let's talk about that for a second. Hailey and Justin's relationship has always been under the microscope. From day one, people said she was his rebound, that he still loved Selena, that she was too controlling, too cold. But Hailey, she's played the long game, launched her own brand, built her own empire, and now she's richer than Justin. That changes things. Behind every cute couple Instagram photo, there's a power dynamic. And right now, Hailey's got the upper hand. So what does this mean for Justin and Scooter? Is this the end of the feud? Will the payment finally close that chapter? Or will it open a new one? Because let's be honest, money doesn't just vanish. Even when you're married, even when it's our money. When your wife pays your debt, the debt might be gone. But the feeling, that sticks around, especially if you're Justin Bieber once. The boy wonder, now the man trying to figure out who he is without the manager who discovered him, without the tours, without the endless screaming fans, and maybe without full control of his own life anymore. This isn't just a celebrity money story, it's deeper than that. It's about pride, ego, power, forgiveness. It's about what happens when the people who helped build you suddenly feel like they're the ones tearing you down, and the one person still standing beside you might be doing it with her own reasons. What happens next? Does Scooter accept the payment and walk away? Does Justin finally take ownership of his part in the fallout? Does Hailey step even deeper into the business side of her husband's career? We don't know yet, but here's what we do know. The Justin Bieber we once knew, the kid on YouTube, the teen heartthrob, the rebel in the drop-top Lambo, he's gone. What's left is a man who's fighting battles we never see, trying to stay married, trying to stay sane, trying to stay solvent, and maybe, just maybe, trying to stay Justin. The question on everyone's mind now is this: how did it get this bad? Because for a long time, Justin and Scooter weren't just client and manager, they were inseparable. Scooter Braun wasn't just booking tours, he was at family events, birthday dinners, even at Justin's wedding. He was the older brother Justin never had. The mentor, the protector. So what really tore them apart? Some say it was money, but those who were close, they whisper about something else. Control. As Justin got older, more famous, and more exhausted, he started to question who was running his life. He had managers, assistants, bodyguards, publicists, handlers. Everyone was making decisions for him, but deep down, he was tired. Tired of being told where to go, what to say, who to be, and that includes Scooter. There were rumors Justin wanted out of their business arrangement years ago, that he felt Scooter was taking more than his fair share, that the tours were too much, that he wanted a break. And when he finally got that break, when he married Hailey and took time for himself, he started seeing things differently, including his bank account, sources say. Justin began to question everything: how much Scooter made, how the deals were structured, why he was constantly on the hook for expenses that didn't feel like his. And when the Justice World Tour fell apart, it all came crashing down. Because now, it wasn't just questions, it was debt, real debt, and Scooter wasn't backing down. But then something unexpected happened. Scooter Braun, once the most loyal man in Justin's life, started pulling away to First. He sold off the rights to Justin's music catalog. That deal alone was worth hundreds of millions, and fans were furious. Justin didn't even know about the sale until after it happened, according to insiders. He felt betrayed, like his own voice had been sold without his permission. That move, it was the first real sign that things between them were broken. And it didn't stop there. Scooter began shifting his focus to other artists, other ventures. He became CEO of Hybe America. He started managing people like Ariana Grande, Demi Lovato, and even Kanye briefly. He was building an empire that didn't need Justin. And Justin noticed. You could see it in his music, in his interviews, in his silence. And now, With this payment, this $26 million debt, being quietly settled behind the scenes, it feels like the final nail in the coffin. But if you think Hailey's just writing a check and walking away, think again. Because insiders say she's playing a bigger role in Justin's business than ever before. After Rhode's explosive success, Hailey proved she knows how to run a brand. And she's not just putting out skincare, she's building partnerships, negotiating contracts, and managing millions. And now that her name is tied to Justin's financial life, she's stepping in. Some say she's already helping him restructure his team, that she wants more control over the brand of Justin Bieber, that she wants to protect their legacy and their bank accounts, and honestly, can you blame her? Imagine being Hailey. You marry one of the biggest stars in the world. You watch him suffer mentally, emotionally, spiritually. You stay by his side through breakdowns, rehab, Lyme disease, facial paralysis. You put your own career on pause just to be there, and now, when you finally cash in on your own dreams, you have to use that money to pay off his debt. That's not a marriage. That's a merger, and not everyone's happy about it. Online, fans are split. Some say Hailey is being a supportive wife, a partner, that she's doing what any good spouse would, do helping out when things get tough, that this is love in action. But others, they're calling Justin out. They say it's embarrassing, that the man who once ruled the world is now riding on his wife's coattails, that he's using her money because he burned too many bridges, spent too recklessly, and trusted the wrong people. The truth, it's probably somewhere in the middle, because love and money, they're messy. And in Hollywood, they're even messier. Behind every photo op, every red carpet kiss, there's a contract, a negotiation, a power shift. And this moment where Hailey writes the check that saves Justin's reputation. This is one of those moments that changes everything. It changes how the public sees them. It changes how their friends treat them. It even changes how they treat each other. Because, let's be honest, no matter how much you love someone, once you're the one holding the financial power, things shift. Suddenly, you're the one asking questions, calling the shots. And the other person, they feel it. They may not say it, but they feel it. And that's where Justin is now, caught between the man he used to be. The global icon who called the shots and the man he's becoming. A husband who owes his career to one person, and his freedom to another. Next, well, for Scooter Braun, it's closure. Sources say once the debt is paid, he's done. No more calls, no more middle-of-the-night negotiations, no more emotional check-ins, just business. And after that, nothing for Hailey. This might be her moment, the moment she steps out of the shadow of Justin's wife and becomes something more, a power player, a business mogul, the one who saved the Bieber brand when it was circling the drain. And for Justin, it's a reckoning, a chance to finally ask himself, what do I really want? Because the fame, it's fading. The fan base, it's aging. And the money, well now, it's someone else's. But maybe that's okay. Maybe this is the moment Justin finally lets go of the pressure to be the superstar. Maybe he focuses on healing, on writing, on starting fresh, or maybe fights his way back, rebuilds from the ground up with a new team, a new sound, and a new appreciation for the people who stood by him even when the stadiums went dark. Whatever happens next, one thing's for sure, this isn't the Justin Bieber story we expected. It's not about teenage fame or platinum albums anymore. It's about real life, real debt, real consequences, and one woman, Hailey Bieber, who just might be the reason the lights stay on. So let's sit with that for a second. Imagine being Justin. You spent your whole life working, performing, and giving everything to a world that expected you to be perfect. From the age of 13, cameras followed you. Every mistake, every breakdown, every heartbreak hit was all public. And through it all, Scooter Braun was by your side. At least, that's what you thought. But in the end, it came down to numbers. Two. Money. Two. Who paid what and who got paid more. Scooter helped build the empire. But somewhere along the way, the friendship turned into a balance sheet. The brotherhood became a business. And Justin, he found himself more alone than ever before. That's when Hailey entered the picture. She wasn't just a pretty face. She became the person Justin leaned on when everything else crumbled. He married her, built a home with her, trusted her, and now, without even realizing it, he owes her to Dot. Because, make no mistake, This isn't just about a loan. This is about power, about control, about the fact that for the first time in his adult life, Justin is no longer the financial leader in his relationship, and that changes everything. Let's talk about Hailey for a minute. She's been through it, all harsh headlines. Non-stop comparisons to Selena Gomez, trolls calling her talentless, soulless, even manipulative. And yet, she built something real. Rhode wasn't just a brand, it was a statement, a message to the world. I'm more than a wife, I'm a boss. And now, with that success, she's not just helping Justin, she's saving him, reports say. That without her financial support, the Scooter Braun debt could have dragged on for years, creating lawsuits, headlines, public embarrassment. But Hailey, she ended it quietly. A final settlement, no drama, just power moves. And now, behind the scenes, everyone in Hollywood is paying attention. Other artists, other managers, even Justin's former friends. They're watching this unfold like a reality show. And they all want to know the same thing? Is Justin Bieber still Justin Bieber? Or is he Hailey's husband now? Because in an industry built on image, losing your independence can be the beginning of the end. That's what scares Justin's inner circle. Sources say some of his longtime collaborators are nervous. They say he's not focused, not inspired. That he's more concerned with staying out of the spotlight than creating music. That he's lost the fire. And you can see it. The tours that don't happen, the albums that drop quietly. The fact that most people remember his last headline being about canceling a show, not about a hit song. It's not just a break, it's a disappearance. And while Hailey's star is rising, Justin's is flickering. There's a quiet sadness to that dot, because this was the kid who wanted it all, who chased fame with wide eyes and no fear. And now that he has it, he barely wants to touch it. But maybe that's growth. Or maybe it's something else. Let's not forget the emotional toll this has taken in the past few years. Justin has opened up about depression, anxiety, suicidal thoughts. He's talked about how fame nearly broke him, how being treated like a product instead of a person made him feel empty inside. And as he stepped back from the limelight, many of us rooted for him. We wanted him to find peace, but peace comes at a cost. Sometimes it means losing momentum, losing deals, losing people who once said they'd never leave. Scooter Braun was one of those people, and now he's gone. Some insiders say it wasn't just money that ended their relationship. It was resentment, hurt, betrayal that Justin felt used. That Scooter felt ungrateful to men who once saw the world the same way, now living in completely different realities, and in the middle, a $26 million debt paid off by a woman who didn't even create the mess, just fixed it. There's something undeniably powerful about that. Hailey Bieber may be one of the most criticized women in pop culture, but right now, she holds the keys to the house, to the brand, to Justin's second chance, and she's not playing games. People close to her say she's doubling down, taking more control, asking tougher questions, making smarter investments. She knows that fame is fleeting, that the fans screaming today might forget tomorrow. She's not just trying to be famous, she's trying to build something that lasts. And if that means stepping into the role of protector, investor, or even boss in her marriage, so be it. But here's where it gets tricky, because love and business, they don't always mix. Hailey and Justin have faced intense pressure from all sides, the public, their families, even themselves. And when your finances get tangled in your relationship, the cracks start to show. TMZ's report about their explosive Father's Day fight wasn't just gossip, it was a sign. A sign that not everything is as perfect as it looks. That even the richest couples can't buy peace, especially when one of them is carrying more than their fair share. Let's be honest, Hailey didn't sign up for this. She married a man who promised her the world, who had private jets, designer deals, and more fame than most people could imagine. And now, she's cleaning up a mess he made with another man years ago. That's hard to swallow, especially when she's finally winning on her own terms. Behind the smiles and the interviews, this story is more than just tabloid drama. It's about what happens when the roles reverse, when the man who once held all the cards suddenly finds himself depending on someone else, and not just anyone, his wife. It's humbling, it's scary, and maybe it's the wake-up call. Justin needed, there's talk that he's already making changes, that he's working on new music, that he's taking meetings again, that this financial debt, painful as it was, reminded him of who he used to be and who he still could be. Maybe this isn't the end of his story. Maybe it's a new chapter, the redemption arc, the comeback. But this time, it won't be built by Scooter Braun. Or even by AEG. It'll be built by Justin and Hailey. Together, whether the world likes it or not. So now we're here. The debt is almost paid. The silence between Justin and Scooter is permanent. And Hailey, she's stepped into a new kind of spotlight, not for being a model or a nepo baby or someone's wife, but for being the one who made the impossible happen. Quietly, strategically, with one move, she proved her power. But let's look at the emotional core of all this, because this story isn't just about celebrities and bank accounts, it's about trust, broken trust. Scooter and Justin weren't just business partners, they were family. For nearly 15 years, they grew together. Through the worst PR scandals, arrests, meltdowns, canceled tours, Rehabston Scooter was there. He was more than a manager. He was a fixer, a front line, the guy who cleaned it all up before the public ever knew. But sometimes loyalty has an expiration date, and in this case, it ran out the second Justin started questioning the numbers, when he started wondering, wait, did he take more than he gave? That single doubt planted years ago grew into resentment, and once money gets involved, forget about friendship, forget about loyalty. All that matters is the math, and the math didn't lie. According to PricewaterhouseCoopers, Justin still owed millions in unpaid commissions. Millions Scooter had every right to claim, and yet he offered to settle for less. That alone tells you how tired both of them were. Tired of the headlines, tired of the drama, tired of trying to fix something that was never going to feel the same again. Sometimes closure doesn't look like a hug. Sometimes it looks like a receipt, a signed agreement, a final payment. And now, that payment's in progress. To Hailey. But what does this mean for Justin? Now that the feud is done, does he feel free? Or does he feel smaller? Because for someone who's been in control for so long, letting someone else fix your problems can feel like failure, even when it's your spouse. And that brings us to a much deeper question. Is Justin Bieber ready to be a supporting role in his own life? Because lately, that's how it's looked. He's quiet, private, hesitant, almost like he's walking on eggshells in his own house. In public, Hailey talks more, takes the lead more, sits front and center more. And maybe that's the plan. Maybe he's okay with that. Or maybe he's not. Let's not forget Justin still has millions of fans who want more, who are begging for the next album, the next era, the next tour. They don't care about money drama. They care about the music. But music takes something from you. It demands emotional honesty, creativity, vulnerability. And if you're not feeling strong, it won't come. That's the challenge Justin's facing now, reclaiming his voice. Not just as a singer, but as a man. The man behind the brand. The man behind the marriage. The man who once said, "I'm sorry, I'm figuring it out." This is his chance to figure it out. For real. To rebuild. Trust. To reconnect with fans. To re-enter the world, not as the broken superstar or the teen idol, but as the man he's become. Stronger, wiser, humbled, and loved. Because no matter how messy this gets, Hailey is still there. The fights, the rumors, the screaming matches, that's real life. That's marriage. But she hasn't left. In fact, she's leaning in. And maybe that's what gives Justin the courage to face this next chapter. Not just because she paid his debt, but because she stayed. There's something beautiful about that. Also, something risky. Because when your savior is also your spouse, the lines get blurry. Does he feel grateful? Or does he feel trapped? Does she feel like a partner or like a parent? These are the questions no one can answer but them. And maybe they're still figuring it out behind the perfect photos and the sold-out skincare, behind the black SUVs and security guards, behind the cool tones of Rhode's Instagram and the empty stages where Justin was once king. There are two people trying to hold it together, and they're doing it under pressure most of us will never understand. So what comes next? Sources say Scooter's out for good, that he's cutting ties not just with Justin, but with other major artists too, that he's stepping away from talent management altogether. Maybe to protect his peace. Or maybe because he saw what it cost. Him and Justin. He's laying low, writing, reflecting, maybe recording. There are whispers of a new era coming. A slower one. More acoustic, more stripped down, less polished, more him. It won't be a global explosion like Sorry or Peaches. But maybe it'll be more honest, more grounded. Maybe this time he's making music for himself and not for the charts. And Hailey, she's doing just fine. The Rhode brand is expanding. New drops, new deals, new investors. A model to a full-on mogul. And people are finally giving her credit. They're starting to see what she really is. Focused, business-minded, fiercely loyal. And now, she's the one people go to when they want to know what power looks like. Not in a suit, not in a label, but in quiet moves that speak volumes. So when you see the headline, Justin Bieber pays back Scooter Braun with Hailey's money, know that it's more than gossip, it's a turning point. For all three of them, a closing chapter, and maybe the start of something none of them expected. No more loans, no more silence, no more pretending, just three people finally saying what they really feel with their actions. And if we're being honest, that's more real than any